Some words, once spoken, can never be taken back. Some accusations are so cruel, so unforgivable, that they destroy everything in an instant. This is the story of how the person I loved most became a stranger in a single sentence. My name is Emma, and I'm 28 years old. A month ago, I kicked my boyfriend of 6 years out of our apartment, and he still doesn't understand why I'll never let him back in. Let me start at the beginning, back when things were still good. I met Derek when I was 22, he was 25. We met at a friend's birthday party and hit it off immediately. Derek was funny, charming, the kind of guy who could make anyone laugh. He had this energy that filled up a room. We started dating 2 weeks after we met. Within 6 months, we'd moved in together. Those first few years were great. We traveled together, went to concerts, spent lazy Sundays cooking breakfast and watching movies. Sure, we had our problems. What couple doesn't? But nothing major. Nothing that felt like a warning sign. Derek had a temper sometimes. He'd get frustrated easily, snap at little things, but he always apologized afterward, always said he was working on it. I believed him. I thought everyone had flaws. I thought love meant accepting those flaws. By our 5th year together, we'd started talking about the future, marriage, kids, all the things couples talk about when they think they've found their person. We weren't actively trying for a baby, but we weren't being careful either. We figured if it happened, it happened. Then, 3 months ago, it happened. I was a week late. At first, I didn't think much of it. My cycle wasn't always regular. But then another week passed. I felt different, tired, nauseous in the mornings. I took a pregnancy test on a Tuesday afternoon. Derek was at work. I sat on the bathroom floor and watched as 2 pink lines appeared. Positive. I was pregnant. My first feeling was shock. Pure, overwhelming shock. This was real. This was actually happening. My second feeling was fear. We weren't ready. We hadn't planned this. We didn't have enough money saved. But my third feeling, the one that surprised me most, was excitement. A baby. Our baby. A little person made of both of us. I called Derek immediately, told him to come home, said it was important. He got home within an hour. I could tell he was worried something was wrong. I showed him the test. He stared at it for a long moment. His face went through about 10 different expressions. "Are you serious?" he finally asked. "Yeah, I'm pregnant." Derek picked me up and spun me around. He was grinning, actually grinning. "We're having a baby," he said. "We're actually having a baby." That night, we stayed up late talking about everything. Names, whether we wanted a boy or a girl, how we'd turn the spare room into a nursery. Derek was so happy, so excited. I remember thinking that everything was going to be okay. We told our families the next week. Everyone was thrilled. My mom cried. Derek's parents started talking about being grandparents. We made a doctor's appointment. They estimated I was about 4 weeks along. The doctor explained what to expect, the timeline, the prenatal vitamins I should take, what foods to avoid. Everything felt surreal, like I was living in someone else's life. Derek came to that first appointment with me, held my hand, asked the doctor a million questions. I remember thinking how lucky I was, how good he was going to be as a dad. But then things started changing. Derek's temper got worse. He'd get angry over nothing, slam doors, raise his voice. At first, I thought it was stress. The pregnancy was unexpected. Maybe he was feeling overwhelmed. But it kept getting worse. He'd snap at me for leaving dishes in the sink, for forgetting to buy milk, for asking him to take out the trash. Little things that never bothered him before suddenly made him furious. I tried talking to him about it, told him the anger was scaring me, that I needed him to be calmer. He'd apologize, promise to do better, then do the exact same thing the next day. I was 5 weeks pregnant when I started cramping. It was a Saturday morning. I woke up with this dull ache in my lower stomach, like period cramps but different. I went to the bathroom and saw blood. Not a lot at first, just spotting. But it was there. I knew immediately. Something was wrong. I woke Derek up, showed him, tried to stay calm even though I was panicking inside. "It's probably nothing," he said. "Some women spot during pregnancy. It's normal." But I knew. Deep down I knew. We went to the emergency room. The waiting felt endless. Every minute felt like an hour. They did an ultrasound. The technician was quiet. Too quiet. Then the doctor came in. She had that look on her face. The one medical professionals have when they're about to deliver bad news. "I'm sorry," she said. "There's no heartbeat. You're having a miscarriage." The words didn't feel real at first. They just hung in the air. No heartbeat, miscarriage. The baby was gone, just like that. 5 weeks of hope and plans and excitement, gone. The doctor explained what would happen next. How my body would pass the pregnancy naturally. What symptoms to watch for. I barely heard her. I was numb. Derek held my hand but didn't say anything. His face was blank, unreadable. We drove home in silence. The physical part of the miscarriage happened over the next few days. It was painful, both physically and emotionally. But the emotional pain was worse. So much worse. I felt like I'd failed. Like my body had failed. Like I'd lost something precious I'd never get back. Derek didn't talk about it. Whenever I tried to bring it up, he'd change the subject. Say he didn't want to dwell on it. But I needed to talk about it. I needed to process what had happened. Instead, I was grieving alone. Derek's anger got even worse after the miscarriage. He was irritable all the time. Everything I did seemed to annoy him. I felt like I was walking on eggshells in my own home. 2 weeks after the miscarriage, I knew I had to say something. I couldn't keep living like this. It was a Wednesday evening. Derek had just gotten home from work. I was sitting on the couch, trying to figure out how to start this conversation. "We need to talk," I said. Derek sighed. That heavy, annoyed sigh that meant he didn't want to deal with whatever I was about to say. "About what?" "About your anger. About how you've been treating me." He sat down but didn't look at me, just stared at the TV that wasn't even on. "I've been feeling really depressed since the miscarriage," I continued, "and your anger is making it worse. I need you to work on it. I need support right now." I tried to keep my voice calm, tried to make this about us working together as a team. But Derek immediately got defensive. "So, you're blaming me for your depression?" he said. His voice was sharp. "No, I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying your anger isn't helping. I'm struggling and I need—" "You're always struggling," he interrupted. "You're always sad about something. Maybe if you weren't so negative all the time, things would be better." The words stung. But I tried to stay calm. "Derek, I just had a miscarriage. Of course I'm sad. I'm allowed to be sad." "Yeah, well, whose fault is that?" The room went cold. I stared at him. "What did you just say?" Derek's face was hard, angry. He looked at me with something close to hatred. "You heard me. The miscarriage. Whose fault was it?" My heart was pounding. It wasn't anyone's fault. The doctor said these things just happen sometimes. "Really?" "Because I've been thinking about it, and I think you did it on purpose." The words hit me like a punch to the stomach. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't process what he'd just said. "What?" "You did it on purpose," Derek repeated. "You didn't want the baby, so you did something to cause the miscarriage. Probably stressed yourself out on purpose or something." Tears were streaming down my face. My whole body was shaking. "How can you say that?" My voice came out as a whisper. "How can you say that to me?" "Because it's true. You didn't want this baby. You were scared from the beginning, so you sabotaged it." Something inside me broke. Not like glass shattering, more like a rope snapping. All the grief, all the pain, all the weeks of walking on eggshells around his anger. It all crystallized into one clear thought. I was done. "Get the fuck out," I said. My voice was steady now, cold. Derek looked surprised, like he hadn't expected that reaction. "What?" "Get out. Get the fuck out of my apartment. We're done. I'm finished with you." "Emma, come on. I didn't mean—" "Yes, you did. You meant every word. Now get out." I stood up, walked to the door, opened it. "Emma? Out. Now. Before I call the police?" Derek stared at me for a long moment. Then he grabbed his keys and wallet and left. I slammed the door behind him. Then I collapsed onto the floor and sobbed. I cried for hours. Huge, ugly sobs that made my chest hurt and my throat raw. I cried for the baby I'd lost, for the relationship that had just ended, for the person I'd thought Derek was but clearly wasn't. Eventually, I picked myself up off the floor. I locked the door, changed the locks on my phone so Derek couldn't contact me. Then I went to bed and tried to sleep. Derek came back a few hours later. I heard him knocking, heard him calling my name through the door. "Emma, please. I have nowhere to go. Let me in." I stayed quiet, didn't respond. He knocked for 20 minutes, then stopped. The next morning, he came back, knocked again. This time I answered. I opened the door but stood in the doorway, blocked him from coming inside. "What do you want?" I asked. Derek looked terrible, like he hadn't slept. His eyes were red. "I need to come back. I have nowhere to go." "That's not my problem." "Emma, please. I'm sorry about what I said. I was angry. I didn't mean it." "Yes, you did." "I didn't. I swear. I was just—" "You have family here," I interrupted. "Go stay with them." Derek looked away. "I can't." "Why not?" "Because they'll ask questions. They'll want to know why I'm not at home." And there it was, the real reason. He didn't want to tell his family what he'd said. Didn't want them to know why I'd kicked him out. Because he knew what he'd said was unforgivable. "That sounds like a you problem," I said. "Emma, please, help me. I need you." "No. Just for a few days. Until I figure something out." "No. You said I caused our baby to die. You accused me of killing our baby on purpose. There's no coming back from that." Derek's face crumpled. "I didn't mean it. I was angry. I say stupid things when I'm angry." "I know you do. That's the problem. You've been angry for months, and I've been walking on eggshells, trying not to set you off. But I'm done. I'm done protecting your feelings. I'm done managing your anger. Where am I supposed to go?" "I don't care. Go to your parents. Go to your brother. Get a hotel. Sleep in your car. I don't care. Just leave me alone." I closed the door, locked it, walked away while he was still standing there. He knocked a few more times. I didn't answer. Eventually, he left. Over the next few days, Derek tried everything. He texted, called, left voicemails. I blocked him on everything: my phone, WhatsApp, social media, everything. I didn't want to hear his excuses, didn't want his apologies, didn't want anything from him. My sister came over that week. I told her everything that had happened. She was furious, wanted to hunt Derek down and yell at him. "He said what?" she kept repeating. "He actually said that to you?" "Yeah." "Emma, that's unforgivable. You know that, right?" "I know." "Good. Because if you're thinking about taking him back—" "I'm not. I promise. I'm done with him." And I was. Completely done. The pain of the breakup mixed with the pain of the miscarriage. Some days I couldn't tell which hurt more. I took time off work, spent my days on the couch, let myself feel everything without trying to be strong. My friends checked on me regularly, brought food, sat with me when I needed company. Slowly, I started feeling a little better. Not good, but better. I started therapy, started working through the grief of losing the baby and the relationship. My therapist helped me understand that Derek's anger wasn't my responsibility, that I'd done the right thing by leaving. But there was still a part of me that felt guilty, that wondered if I'd been too harsh. A month after Derek moved out, I opened my laptop. I use messages on my computer sometimes for work. I'd forgotten to block Derek there. There were dozens of messages from him. The first ones were angry, calling me cruel, saying I'd thrown away 6 years over one mistake. But the more recent ones were different. "Emma, please talk to me. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean what I said. I was angry about the miscarriage too, and I took it out on you. You can't just throw away 6 years like this. I'm begging you. Please forgive me. Please give me another chance. How could you treat me like a piece of trash? I loved you. We had a life together. You kicked me out like I was nothing, after everything we've been through together." I stared at those messages for a long time. Part of me felt bad. 6 years was a long time. We'd built a life together. But then I remembered what he'd said. Those exact words. "You did it on purpose." He'd accused me of killing our baby, of purposely causing the miscarriage. There's no apology big enough for that. No amount of "I was angry" that makes that okay. I closed my laptop without responding. That night, I called my sister again. "He's still trying to contact me," I said. "He's saying I treated him like trash by kicking him out." "Are you kidding me?" My sister's voice was sharp. "He accused you of killing your baby and he thinks you treated him like trash?" "I don't know, maybe I was too harsh. Maybe I should have let him stay until he found a place." "Emma, listen to me. You did nothing wrong. Nothing. He said something unforgivable and you had every right to kick him out immediately. But 6 years. 6 years doesn't give him the right to abuse you. And that's what he was doing. Emotionally abusing you. I'd never thought of it that way. Abuse. That word felt too big, too serious. But maybe my sister was right. The constant anger, the walking on eggshells, the blaming me for the miscarriage. Maybe it was abuse. Maybe I'd been making excuses for him for too long. I'm not taking him back, I said out loud. Needed to hear myself say it. Good. He doesn't deserve you. I blocked Derek on my computer too, cut off the last way he had to reach me. It's been 6 weeks now since I kicked him out. 6 weeks of healing, of learning to live alone, of figuring out who I am without him. Some days are hard. I see something that reminds me of him and I feel sad. Not sad that we broke up, sad that I wasted 6 years on someone who could say something so cruel. My therapist says grief isn't linear, that I can grieve the relationship and the baby at the same time, that it's okay to have complicated feelings. I'm learning that she's right. I miss parts of what we had, the good times, the laughter, the person I thought he was. But I don't miss the anger, the walking on eggshells, the version of him that could blame me for a miscarriage. I heard through mutual friends that Derek is living with his brother now, that he tells people we broke up because I kicked him out over nothing. He's still not taking responsibility. Still not admitting what he said? That tells me everything I need to know. People ask me sometimes if I regret how I handled it, if I wish I'd been calmer, given him more chances. The answer is no. Some things are unforgivable. Some words can't be taken back. Some lines once crossed destroy everything. Derek crossed that line when he accused me of purposely causing our miscarriage. He took the worst thing that had ever happened to me and made it my fault. And I refuse to feel guilty for protecting myself from that kind of cruelty. Did I treat him like trash? No. I treated him exactly how he deserved to be treated after saying something so horrible. I set a boundary. I protected myself. I refused to accept unacceptable behavior. That's not treating someone like trash. That's self-respect. To anyone reading this who's wondering if they should forgive someone who hurt them, ask yourself this question. If your best friend came to you and told you someone said this to them, what would you tell your friend to do? Would you tell them to forgive? To give another chance? To understand that people say things they don't mean when they're angry? Or would you tell them to run? To get away from someone who could be so cruel? I know what I'd tell my friend. And that's what I'm doing for myself. I'm choosing me. I'm choosing my healing. I'm choosing to build a life that doesn't include someone who weaponized my grief against me. Derek doesn't get another chance. Not after what he said. Not after how he treated me. And I'm finally okay with that. The miscarriage will always hurt. I'll always wonder about the baby that could have been, the life we could have had. But I'm grateful that baby didn't tie me to Derek forever. Grateful that I found out who he really was before we got married or had kids. I'm building a new life now. One where I don't have to manage someone else's anger. One where my feelings are valid and my grief is respected. It's not the life I planned, but it's the life I deserve. And that's enough.